The horrid living conditions recently uncovered at a Plainfield, New Jersey apartment complex have exposed what some lawmakers call a loophole. When inspectors find violations, there is no deadline for when they should check back to make sure it gets fixed.
It's an issue CBS 2 investigative reporter Tim McNicholas has been digging into now for months. Tim joins us here now. And Tim, what are you finding?
Maurice and Christine, what we're finding is an inspection backlog causing violations to linger for months or longer. From peeling paint to damaged walls to fire escapes so rusty they're considered safety hazards. May of 2020. Newark firefighters rushed to 400 Irvine Turner Boulevard to rescue trapped tenants from this two-alarm blaze, which sent a child to the hospital and temporarily forced 19 people from their homes.
It was a fire, big fire, and we got burned out.
Including Latrina Newton's sister and nephew, who live a floor above her in the building.
But my apartment was fine. The Red Cross people came and put other people like in the hotel and stuff.
Those memories, just a snapshot of why tenants are worried about fire safety. They know what can happen. So imagine their frustration when, in June of last year, state housing inspectors marked their rusty fire escapes as a life safety violation. New Jersey's Bureau of Housing Inspection asked the building owner to provide proof that they had a test done to ensure the fire escapes can support people's weight. And inspectors ordered the owner to repair or replace the fire escapes by August 22nd of last year.
They supposed to fix that, and it's still not fixed.
The state is supposed to check back at properties to make sure the owner fixes violations. But more than a year after that inspection, records show the re-inspection has still not started, and the state still has no documentation of that weight test.
That's scary. That's scary. Like I said, my daughter and my sister, she got my nephew upstairs. That's scary. I'm right here on the first floor. What they gonna do?
And CBS 2 has learned that's just one of more than 15,000 properties in New Jersey where the state's deadline has passed for a building owner to fix violations, but the state has not yet re-inspected to check if the owner actually fixed the problem. The state says they're dealing with an inspection backlog stemming from the pandemic, so we re-inspected some of those properties. It's been 8 months since the state visited the Oakham family's apartment in Patterson and ordered their landlord to repair this bathroom ceiling to have an even and smooth surface.
It's uncomfortable. We thought they would be coming to do it, but still nobody came.
It's been 10 months since inspectors ordered Patricia Reese's landlord to install a peephole on her door and a handrail in her bathtub. It says they were supposed to install that. They never did?
No.
And then there's this property in Plainfield, where the mayor says he recently discovered unsafe living conditions and condemned one of the buildings. But records show the state had already found 235 violations here back in 2021 and didn't re-inspect until last month. State inspectors found 178 new violations and learned most of the old ones weren't fixed. The state says they're working to add new housing inspectors, and they have been ramping up their inspections since the pandemic.
We need to set where, listen, re-inspections. When you get it, maybe re-inspection is done within 60 days. Landlord needs to comply.
But right now, there is no deadline for how quickly the state should re-inspect. Just below those rusty fire escapes in Newark, we talked to a man who said he was working at the building. And has it been worked on at all?
I just started working here, but any questions you have?
So you just started working on it?
Yep, thank you.
He closed the door on me. Then a man who said he was a spokesperson for Irvine Turner Apartments reached out and said the fire escapes should be repaired by the end of September. The tenants hope they don't have to use them before then. We also reached out to Miss Reese's landlord, and they said they're now finally installing her peephole and handrail. The landlords we reached out to would not agree to interviews with us, and neither would the state's Housing Inspection Bureau. Christina, Maurice.
So how many of these open violations are actually safety hazards?
So out of those 15,000 properties that we identified, about 13,000 have life safety violations, at least one life safety violation at 13,000 of those properties.
Wow.
Well, we're ready in September. We'll see if that fire escape is fixed by the end of the month.
We'll be on it, that's for sure.
Good work, Tim. Thank you.